What do you think? Did you see the Seymour Hersh thing?
No.
Seymour Hersh on his Substack posted about us blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline.
That's crazy. Has that been actually confirmed?
Well, Seymour Hersh has said it, and he's documented his sources and discussed what happened. And the fact that someone like Seymour Hersh is publishing, and a guy who really hasn't been working, is publishing on Substack.
What's crazy to me is that I asked my friend, I'm like, wasn't this, am I mistaken, or was this like a conspiracy theory that got you labeled as like a Putin apologist?
It did, yeah.
Not too long ago.
Well, Biden said that it was Russian disinformation, that, we had anything to do with it, that it was Russian disinformation.
And now it's coming out that, or it's alleged.
I mean, I'm not the guy to tell you.
This is one way it's worded online.
Hersh swings and misses big. Careless claims that the U.S. blew up the Nord Stream pipeline cover for the real scandals of the Biden administration.
Oh, I like Tablet. Tablet's good.
Interesting. What are they saying, though? I'll go back to that. What are they saying that it covers for? The most astounding claim in the blockbuster new article from Seymour Hersh alleging that the U.S. is responsible for sabotaging 2 of Russia's natural gas pipelines is that the Biden administration is led by a no-nonsense crew of highly capable tacticians. Forget what you've heard about the secret classified documents turning up in various Biden residences. And Hersh, but first of all, those Biden residences, that's documents from when he was a vice president. That's really not applicable for this current administration. And Hersh is telling that the Biden White House practices exceptional operational security. You're talking about different administrations. Also, you're talking about something the vice president took with him to his home. And it would need to, because according to the single anonymous source on whom Hersh bases his piece, the Russians have superlative surveillance of the Baltic Sea, pulling off a plan to blow up Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 pipelines between Germany and Russia would require not only vision and leadership, but sophisticated cover. So what kind of highly advanced self-technology did the Biden team employ to cloak the underwater operation? In fact, they did just the opposite. They hid the plot to start World War III in plain sight. According to the source, who had direct knowledge of the operational planning, writes Hersh, a team of U.S. Navy divers planted the explosives in June 2022 during an annual NATO exercise in the Baltic Sea, while tens of thousands of naval personnel from allied countries on site and hundreds of thousands more were monitoring the exercise remotely. That is, according to Hersh's source, Team Biden thwarted the Russian superb surveillance by planting explosive before the eyes of an audience of military and intelligence officials from the European countries that depend on Russian gas carried through the pipelines. Right, but what Seymour Hersh is saying is they planted it months in advance and then detonated it remotely. So saying that this is sort of, I don't think this is that good. Like because someone could do that. You could plant something in front of everyone, but nothing happened, and then it gets detonated remotely months later. So to prove that they did it during that time, it's like if all these people are monitoring it and they were there and they just blew it up. Well, obviously they did it. They were there. They blew it up. And then you could say, these people were monitoring them. They caught them doing it. But if these people were there and no one knew that a team of divers planted this, no one's monitoring the bottom of the fucking ocean. You're not having people monitoring whether or not people are planting explosives that will be detonated remotely 3 months, 4 months in the future.
So they're saying just because no one was monitoring it, that's why it's not true?
Well, I don't know. I mean, people...
I have to read that whole article.
Yeah, people write articles and they have narratives, but I don't like the way they're phrasing it. They're saying that the Biden administration is inept because you're seeing these classified documents show up in Biden's home, because that's all stuff that was from many years ago when he was the vice president.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the Nord Stream thing. I just know that if it is in fact true, it's another instance where people were labeled conspiracy theorists, and then 3 or 4 months later, it's like, oh, just kidding, this is true. Moving on. This
is something that Tucker Carlson talked about on his show. He bought into this, whatever Seymour Hersh is saying. I don't know. It's hard for us to really know. We really don't know. So to say we know is kind of crazy. But the idea that they're a bumbling administration because they found these classified documents at Biden's estate doesn't seem accurate. Not only that, my suspicions when they found all these classified documents, and these documents were released by his aides, was that they probably are concerned with Biden wanting to run in 2024. The fact that they released that, my conspiratorial mind was like, they're trying to sink him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that that's even a conspiracy. I think they polled the party, and it's something like only 37% wants him to run again.
But they don't have another viable candidate.
I mean, it could be.
That's what's
Imagine if everyone leaves California and then we get Gavin Newsom.
I doubt.
It's the Peter principle.
I doubt it. I don't.
You rise to your level of incompetence.